Alright, we're getting close to finishing this bowl, and we like to sign everything that we do, so I'm going to turn this bowl over and hand it to my wife Sandy, who's normally behind the camera, and she's going to go ahead and sign it with our Crazy Jugs logo. Just takes but a second, and she does such a good job that I tried but just can't do it like she can, so she gets this done. And this is an underglaze she's using, and it will just soak right in to the jug. Now, thank you. So the bisque pottery is like a sponge. Everything that touches it, it sticks to. So what we want to do is we do not want this sticking to our kiln. So I have a simple electric skillet that I will take and carefully lower the bottom in until it covers the bottom. I like this just a little bit on there, and we'll check it and make sure and let it drip as it dries. And then we'll set it aside for just a second on a drying rack. Now what we're going to do is we're going to mix up our glaze. It's all kinds of chemicals that are mixed with water, and they settle out. So we go ahead and mix it before we use our glaze every single time. So I'll mix up the glaze for a few seconds and get it ready to dip. The wax is cooled now, so our next step is to go ahead and dip the bowl into our glaze. So I'll take the bowl and I'll dip it in the bottom, making sure that I'm covering everything, including the bottom. Then I will dip it out, and for some extra character, we dip the top a second time. We shake it, and sometimes we shake like this, and it makes little drips. Everywhere the glaze is thicker, it has a different effect. So we don't have it even, it makes that beautiful mottled effect. So now we're going to take it and we're going to set it on our drying rack for a few minutes, let it soak up everything that it's been in the glaze. We'll do a little bit of cleanup and we'll put it in the kiln and get ready for the glaze firing. Just catch up with us in a few minutes and we'll show you the final steps as we put it into the kiln. Alright, our final step is to get the glaze wiped off the bottom and to get the bowl loaded in the kiln. So the glaze is dried for a few minutes. I like to check and see what's inside here. There's a few little pieces of glaze that have probably particles that are in the glaze bucket. I just simply kind of wipe those around and they drop out like that. Then we keep a little bit of water over here and a sponge. I dip the sponge in. Any glaze that's on the bottom, even though the wax is on there from when we dipped it a minute ago, any glaze that's on there will stick to the kiln shelf, and as the bowl cools after the firing is done, the glaze will stick on the kiln and crack the bottom of the bowl. And we definitely don't want that when we've gotten this far. So we got this all wiped down really well, and our next step is to put it in the kiln. One final check of everything. I've already got the kiln loaded with another firing with other things below it. Very important on the glaze that nothing touches. Sometimes we will pack this kiln completely full, but we have to make sure that nothing touches because it'll simply melt together and makes a big mess. So I'm going to close the kiln down and get ready to begin the firing. This time we fire to a much higher temperature. It makes the pots what we call vitrified. It melts the glaze into the pot, into the clay, and everything becomes one. So our firing temperature is much higher. This time we will go to 2194 degrees, which is cone 5. So as I program my controller here, we'll clear it from the last one. We'll go to cone fire, cone 5. What speed? We can go fast on this one. Preheat, we don't need to preheat at all this time. Here's the important part. I like to program in a hold at the highest temperature. So we hold for about 35 minutes. That makes everything kind of run together a little bit better. Cooling, I don't worry. I just let it naturally cool. I hit enter. It's 89 degrees now and it's idle. It's ready to go. And I hit start and the kiln starts. It's going to take about 12 to 14 hours to bring this up to temperature, and then another 12 to 14 hours to bring it back down. So it's a whole day process until I can open the kiln up. So our next video is going to be when we open the kiln up and we take the pots out, we get them packed, and we're going to take them to Dave and Jeri as we go on vacation in the mountains where they live. So stay tuned for that next video. It might be a couple of weeks away. Hope you're enjoying this series. Let me know if you are. Like it, subscribe to it, and we'll do more videos like this. So until we talk again, God bless and have a wonderful day. So it's 24 hours later since we started the kiln, and this is one of my favorite parts of the pottery process. This is like Christmas Day every morning when I open a kiln. So the kiln's cooled down to where I think I can touch stuff. I pull the side plugs, add a little more vent, and here's the moment of truth. We open up. Let's see. Whoa, check it out. There are the bowls, and there is a large serving bowl that I made for Dave and Jeri. It looks really good. So the next step is going to be get it ready to go pack it up, and when we go on vacation, we're going to take this up and visit our friends Dave and Jeri, and we'll show you giving the bowls to them. So thanks for being a part of this journey, and can't wait for you to see the last part when we take it to our friends to its new home. Good morning. It's a couple weeks after our last video, and we are finally on the way for our much anticipated vacation in the mountains of North Carolina. We got Dave and Jeri's bowl in the back of the truck, and we got about 11 and a half hours ahead of us driving up to a little town of Newland, North Carolina, where our family has a cabin. So it's going to be a long day. It started out with a thunderstorm. Welcome to Central Florida in the middle of July. So we're going to run through this thunderstorm and get on up to the mountains, and we'll catch you at the next segment when we're going to go see Dave and Jeri. Hope you have a great day. And 10 and a half hours later, we were almost to the cabin, and then this happened. Epic fail alert.
Their foot shall slide in due time, for their day of disaster is near, and their doom is coming quickly.
Well, it's a beautiful day in the mountains here, and the temperature right now is 73 degrees, and it's about 11 o'clock in the morning, and we're heading over to visit our friends Dave and Jeri in the next town over. So we're looking forward to showing them the pottery and finally making the delivery of the bowl that you've watched the whole time. So stay tuned just for a few minutes, and we'll have the last part of this video. Enjoy with us. So hey, we're at our friend Dave and Jeri's, and I've got the bowl here, and it's been wrapped up, and finally the end of the process is getting to give it to our friends Dave and Jeri, who we've known for years, and they've moved up to the mountains, and there it is. So
beautiful.
Yeah, you followed the process all the way from the mud all the way through throwing and the two firings and all. And this is one of the most gratifying parts of the pottery process, is when we can get the pottery to the people who are going to enjoy it.
Beautiful.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining us along with this adventure, and more to come soon. God bless and have a wonderful day.